This is Jean Coughlin. I am presenting an update on the work of the Election Process Committee. You have been hearing about the work of this committee since the fall of 2014. Since that time, the committee has been reflecting on the information we received from recommendations to the Mission Board, responses to the committee from the 2015 Assembly, and communal processes used by other congregations. Through this video and the accompanying document, we are presenting the first three phases developed by the committee. The fourth phase will be presented at Assembly 2016. Additionally, the committee is proposing a timeline for the leadership discernment process. As the committee studied and discussed the recommendations and the responses offered during the Assembly in 2015, we began to identify values that were surfacing that would be key to the process. Each member is called to be accountable for her individual discernment about her level of participation and about calling forth other sisters to elected leadership. Each member is called to be engaged in the individual and communal discernment of elected leadership for the good of the whole. Each sister who is called to elected leadership will benefit from receiving written information from those who invite her to consider elected leadership. Each sister will be invited to participate in large group, small group, one-on-one dialogues that provide information and support for those discerning the call and those engaged in the leadership discernment process. The timeline and process that has been developed are rooted in these values. In this video, we will walk you through the first three phases of 4 phases of the proposed leadership discernment process that was affirmed in principle at Assembly 2015. These phases are, first, naming of critical challenges and skills needed to respond to the challenges. Second, individual discernment. Third, invitation to discern elected leadership. And fourth, election of congregation leadership. Phase 1 is the identification of critical challenges. At Assembly 2016, the leadership will present major challenges facing the congregation. During the fall mission group meetings, you will be asked to review the challenges named at the Assembly and identify the 5 most critical issues. The document, Dimensions of Leadership, prepared by the Leadership Conference of Women Religious, will be used as a resource to identify the particular skills you believe would be needed to respond to the challenges you see as critical to the life of the congregation and the world. Phase 2 of the process is individual discernment. A leadership selection discernment journal for individual and communal discernment will be provided. Using the journal, each sister will undertake a personal discernment in regard to her level of participation in chapter and the possibility of her availability for service in elected leadership. Phase 3 has several steps and will begin with the 2017 Fall Mission Group meetings. Using the process in the journal and referring to the previously named challenges and skills, mission group members will be asked to identify sisters who may be invited to discern elected leadership positions. References will be made to the previously identified challenges and skills. The next step is the invitation to discern elected leadership. After the mission group meeting, Each sister is encouraged to invite sisters to elected leadership discernment. Each member may invite up to 3 sisters for the office of president and invite 6 sisters for the council positions. The information on the form includes name of the sister she is inviting, position she is inviting the sister to consider, reasons why the sister would be an effective leader, and signature of the sisters submitting the invitation. Sisters will be asked to send their invitations to a central location where they will be forwarded to the sisters being invited to discern elected leadership. While any sister may enter into the discernment process, all sisters who receive at least 10 invitations are asked to seriously consider remaining in the process. A discernment process will be included in the journal for a sister to reflect on the invitation she has received, consider expanding her discernment through a wisdom circle, a small group of sisters and trusted colleagues with whom the sister may confer. Declaration of openness. A form will be provided for sisters to respond to the invitations they receive. Sisters are asked to indicate the offices they have received invitations to consider and the offices in which they are willing to serve. Additionally, there will be an opportunity for the sister to indicate why she is not willing to remain in the process. These responses will be sent to the congregation president. Prior to the chapter of elections, guidelines will be provided regarding the deadline for each invitee's final decision. Communal discernment. Sisters who are willing to remain in the leadership discernment process will have the opportunity to dialogue with delegates and members of the congregation. Additionally, a retreat experience will be available for sisters to continue their discernment. Both processes will be developed with consultation of the chapter planning committee and the chapter facilitator. Phase 4, the election process. At the time of the election, there will be an opportunity for prayerful individual and communal discernment related to the election for each position. This final phase has not been developed. It will depend on the option for election that is chosen at Assembly 2017. Additionally, our committee would like to allow for the involvement of the chapter facilitator before finalization of the entire process. Beginning with this slide, I am briefly reviewing the proposed timeline for the leadership discernment process. This begins with the Spring 2016 Mission Group meeting. You have received the materials to be used during this present meeting that outline the proposed election process, a video, a timeline for the process, LCWR Dimensions of Leadership document, and a response form. At this meeting, you are invited to review the process included in this video that the committee has developed thus far. A response form is provided for you to indicate your affirmation of the process and any questions that would help clarify the process. Representatives will be asked to send the response sheets to the committee through me prior to the Mission Board meeting on May 7th. Contact information and the due date are on the response form. During the 2016 Mission Board meeting, representatives will report on the outcomes of their discussion on the proposed process. The board will make a recommendation on the first 3 phases that will be forwarded to the Assembly. During the Assembly of 2016, the leadership team will present its insights regarding the most critical challenges facing the congregation at this time. It will be followed by a discussion by the members and the opportunity for the members to surface additional challenges. The Mission Board's recommendation regarding the proposed communal discernment process for elected leadership will be presented to the Assembly, and members will have an opportunity to determine its status. The Election Process Committee will present options describing how a leadership team might be elected. During the 2016 Fall Mission Group meetings, you will be asked to review the critical challenges identified and discussed at the 2016 Assembly and identify 5 of the most critical challenges facing the congregation. Use the LCWR document, Dimensions of Leadership, as a resource to identify 5 skills that elected leaders would need to enable the congregation to respond to the challenges. Review and discuss the options for election that were presented at the 2016 Assembly. You will be asked to come to consensus and offer a leaning on one of the options. A response form will be provided for your responses on the 5 challenges, the 5 skills, and the group's leaning on the option for election. At the Fall Mission Board meeting, the Election Process Committee will present a summary of mission group responses regarding the identified challenges and skills. Additionally, the committee will tabulate the leanings of the mission groups regarding the options for the election process. The board will recommend an option for approval at Assembly 2017. Spring 27 Mission Group and Mission Board meetings. If consensus regarding an option for election is not reached, there will be an opportunity during the Spring Mission Group meetings for further discussion and a recommendation on the option. Based on feedback from mission groups, the Mission Board will make a recommendation on an option for election to Assembly 2017 if it was not decided at the 2016 Fall Mission Board meeting. During the Assembly of 2017, sisters will review and approve the final version of the 4 phases of the leadership discernment process. We are recommending that a speaker be invited to this meeting to offer a presentation on the relationship of membership to leadership in religious life today. After the Assembly, the Leadership Selection Discernment Journal, including the discernment tool for individual and communal discernment, and the election of leadership process will be finalized and prepared for distribution in the fall of 2017. Beginning in the fall of 2017 and through the spring of 2018, the first 3 phases leading to the election will take place. Specific dates will be worked out by the Chapter Planning Committee. Step 4 of the election process will take place in the summer of 2018 at the Chapter of Elections. This completes our presentation. I would like to thank you on behalf of the committee for your continued participation in the development of the leadership discernment process.